Everybody, this is Brothario, divorced single dad, now on a mission to do my part to prevent all the other guys out there from falling into the traps that so many of us have fallen into in the past. So, today we got another reaction video. Let's see what this is about.
Someone explained to me this epidemic that is happening with women where they have a 10 out of 10 man, even maybe an 8 or 9 out of 10 kind of man, where he takes care of the kids, he gives her whatever she wants, maybe he puts her through nursing school, he fixes his shit and able to become a better man, he listens when she complains, like, he is there through and through. You know, he has a couple of his own issues, but, you know, he's working on them because he's always trying to put his family first. He's good looking.
Yeah, that is a massive problem going on now. And I would say the biggest thing that is exacerbating it now, and it's either, you can either look at it one of two ways, that it is happening far more now than it used to in the past, which I believe is the case. Or you can say, oh, well, it's just getting more visibility now. It's happened just the same way as in the past. I don't think it's the latter at all. The reason I think it is the first one is because social media. And I say this with a bit of irony here because YouTube is kind of considered social media, even though it's a little bit different than social media. But social media is the main driving factor behind this. I think first of all, the reason you're seeing it more is because women have no shame, and they will come out and just post about how they leave the perfect guy all the time. And then also too, a lot of times that accompanies these sort of videos is that they then are saying how much they regret it because again, they have no shame. Well, you would think if that is the overwhelming majority of what happens, other women would be able to pick up on it and not do the same thing, but that doesn't happen that way because there is the subset of social media that's showing that I had everything I wanted, I had everything that was good, and I left it and I regret it. That is being drowned out by the other portion of social media where it is just straight up lying and coping, where women will say, oh yeah, I left my husband, blah, 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 but things are way better now, blah, 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 making up excuses to justify what they did when that is not in fact actually the case. Now, yes, there will be certain circumstances where a woman will have left a man and things have turned out better because for whatever reason, we can just go all the way down to be nice about it and say they weren't compatible, all the way up to like he was abusive and or whatever. There are certain times when that will in fact actually be validated and them leaving was the correct choice. But the reality of it is that most of the time it is not. Because you were initially attracted to this person for a very specific reason or a multitude of reasons. And that person, and when it comes to guys, I said this before, guys are who they are. They do not change. So you knew exactly what you were getting into from the beginning when you married that guy. So these women will be addicted to social media and they'll see all these other women talk about, oh, this, how great this is, blah, 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 blah. And that will poison the women who's in the happy marriage with the perfect guy. That will poison them because women are easily influenced by outside forces, especially other women. Social media is a brain-rotting cancer that has exacerbated this problem with women. And then also, too, you can add to the fact that women will have their friends that will try to talk them out of leaving their husband. If your wife's friend, if she has a divorced friend, I'm telling you right now, go ahead and file for divorce because your marriage will not last because that divorced friend is going to do everything that she possibly can to bring your wife down to her level of misery. They always do this. That is just the way it is. Your divorced friend, her divorced friend will make it her mission to make sure that all her other friends are in the same position as she is. Now, even if they don't have a divorced friend, you will have the other friends who will say there's any sort of little issue, like you've had a small little argument in the morning over something kind of trivial. A woman will go and vent that to her friends, and her friends will instantly then tell that woman she needs to leave the man. Oh, this is bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And they'll blame the man for whatever it is, and they will do everything they can to validate the woman's feelings that's still married. Any small issue, and this is what women do with anything tiny, they blow it way out of proportion and make it way bigger of a deal than it actually is. That is what will happen. External forces come on this woman. So you have all of these things all these external forces pushing on this one woman, and the women, they are not mentally strong enough or capable enough to understand that, hey, this is all propaganda isn't a better word, but this is all just kind of like algorithmic programming to make me feel a certain way, because what you watch is what you keep consuming. They cannot understand that what their feelings are being manipulated. And we all know that women do not work on logic. They work purely on feelings. So they let their feelings get in the way. And eventually that ends up changing their whole opinion on the person that they love to want to leave them. And also too, we can add it into fact here. I'll tell you this right now. When you're a guy and you meet a woman at the beginning, you do not know who that woman is. Women are never who they claim to be at the beginning. Everything is a performative show that they put on to make sure that they can try and get the outcome that they are desiring. You will not find out who a woman truly is until many, many years in the future. Some are reveal themselves quicker than others. Some take a very long time, but eventually the real woman will actually come out. And what drives that there, I don't know. But when the real woman finally comes out, be it by outside forces like I talked about earlier, hormonal changes, menopause, who knows whatever, the wind blows in a certain direction on a Tuesday at 3:07 in the afternoon, that changes who the woman is. It doesn't matter. That will change. The woman is a completely different person than the one you met. And it's over at that point in time. Those are the way I see it as the forces that are kind of causing this stuff to happen.
He takes care of himself. Even when he's down bad, he still thinks about her first. Like, he is a genuinely good man, even though he has a couple of his own issues. And they're not serious issues, and they're not, worth leaving him for, because he's a good man. Explain to me why these women are leaving like these 10 out of 10 men for like men that are 2s or 3s or even 4s. They date these men that don't have kids, that don't want to help them with their kids once they become divorced single moms. They're not really interested. They're kind of boring. They don't make any money. They're not providers. They're basically adult children. So you left a 10 out of 10 man for like a 2? And somebody...
Yeah, so the reason that happens is because women decide that they are bored with what they have. I have the perfect guy here, but I'm missing a spark that I wanted so long ago. So, I'm going to go out and I'm going to look around. I'm going to make bad decisions like I was making back before I met my husband. And I'm going to go for these broke-ass losers or whatever that treat me like shit. And they don't put any effort in on me or whatever. They deal drugs or whatever it is that they do. I'm going to do it. Why? Because I'm getting a little slight endorphin hit of excitement. Because an excitement is missing. And why is excitement missing in your life, married woman to the perfect man? Because you're not putting any effort to have any excitement in life. It's that easy. Get a hobby. Try something new with your husband. There's no shortage of ways to, up the excitement and all this stuff, but instead of doing that, you would rather just throw everything away for a loser. Just an unemployed loser sleeping on his buddy's couch. Women will throw it away for that, all because they just want a little hint of excitement because they can't keep themselves entertained. They can't control the thoughts that go in their head. They can't control their emotions. That is the problem. That is why women do this. They will throw away everything, all because they just want a little endorphin hit, not for any practical reason.
Make that make sense, but not only did you leave a 10 out of 10 man for a 2, you're now resentful towards that 10 out of 10 man for moving on. In order to make yourself feel better, you get on the internet and cry about how abusive he was or how narcissistic he is or how, you were so unfulfilled, but you're just as miserable now with that 2 after you left that 10 because that 2 wore a mask and, he was more available because he wasn't actually working. He didn't have a job. He didn't have a car. And if he had a car, he was massively in debt. And like I said, doesn't help you with shit. But you think he's a better man than your 10 out of 10 man because he's able to answer your text messages fast enough. You know, he's there for you like emotionally, right? Because he has no job, he has no aspirations, or maybe he even has like a little part-time job. But again, he doesn't help you with anything. But you left that 10 out of 10 man for like some lukewarm relationship because that 10 out of 10 man was boring, and this new man that's a 2 or 3 is more exciting. Like, make it make sense. Okay, bye.
Yeah, so I'll contradict a little thing she says here. That guy, that 2 or 3, that loser, that guy's not wearing a mask. Again, guys are who they are. He is doing exactly what he is doing. The woman just cannot differentiate her desire for a little bit of fun, a little bit of change, a little bit of excitement from how much of a loser that person is. Like there's no mask worn. Like you see exactly who this guy is. This is exactly what you're getting. And you decide that you want to throw everything away you have just to get that little bit for that little bit of time. Now, this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. And this could happen on both sides, but it's mostly a women thing. If a woman leaves a guy, right? You chose to leave. You don't get to say shit about what that guy does after the fact. You don't get to say shit about whether he moves on or he's much happier. He's improved upon his circumstances. You don't get to say shit. You are out of his life. You made that decision. You gave up everything. You have no opinion. Your opinion is null and void. Just keep it to yourself. And I suggest you don't even try not to let it bother you. But because you're women, you can't. You can't control it. You can't put away your emotions. But if you do this, you leave the guy and he turns around and say you're a woman and you think you're an 8 or a 9. In reality, you're a 4 or 5. That's just the way it is. You have warped perception of yourselves. But let's say you're a 4 or 5. He stuck with you. He did everything. He gave you everything he wanted. He was a perfect guy for you. He's good looking. He took care of kids, made all the money. You didn't have to do shit. And you up and leave on him. And then he turns around and gets himself like a true 7, 8, 9. You don't get to say shit. You get to just sit there and wallow in your own self-pity. And yes, what they will do is then this woman, excuse me, who has now made her bed and is sleeping in it, will then turn to social media to go around and start making those videos of saying, oh no, this perfect guy, no, I left him because he was a closeted narcissist or blah, 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 or he did this and that, he wasn't doing all this. And they will make up excuses as to why they left this guy. When in fact, it isn't it. It is just them doing their little cope fest. This is what women do. So yes, there is a gigantic epidemic of this happening. And it is, the way I see it, is for the reasons that I mentioned previously. But really, it can all be boiled down to one simple phrase that is always correct and is a universal truth. Going back to the beginning of civilization, going till all of humanity dies out. And that is this. Women do not know how to be happy. Plain and simple. It all comes down to that. All right, guys, this is Brothario. That's all I got for today. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I will check you later.
All right, check you later.